First contact fortitude. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the EDS Vigilant, Earth's newest defensive flagship, as her sensor officer called out the alert that would change human history forever. Captain, 3 vessels just dropped out of something. It's not hyperspace as we know it. They're about 80,000 kilometers off our starboard bow. Chen's fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on the railing. After 15 years in Earth's defense service, she had run countless first contact scenarios. Now it was real. Full defensive stance, but keep weapons powered down, she ordered. Let's not start humanity's first alien encounter by pointing guns at them. Lieutenant Park, what can you tell me about those ships? Park's hands flew over his holographic display. They're massive, Captain, each one about twice our size. Design is organic somehow, almost like coral or crystal structures. No obvious weapons ports that I can detect, but their energy signatures are off the charts. Getting a transmission, Communications Officer Rivera announced. It's beautiful actually. Some kind of harmonics-based language. The computer is working on it. Chen nodded, maintaining her calm exterior while her mind raced through protocols and possibilities. Earth had prepared for this moment ever since the Mars incident 50 years ago, when humanity realized they weren't alone. The automated defense platform they'd destroyed had been a wake-up call. There were powers out there humanity needed to be ready for. Put it on speakers, she ordered. The bridge filled with an ethereal chorus of tones and harmonies that somehow conveyed meaning despite having no words. The computer's translation followed moments later. Greetings, warriors of the blue world. We are the harmonious confluence. We come seeking understanding. Chen raised an eyebrow at the warrior's designation. Send standard first contact package alpha, followed by this message. We welcome peaceful contact with the harmonious confluence. I am Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Service vessel Vigilant. As they waited for a response, Chen studied the alien ships on her display. They were beautiful, she had to admit. Sweeping structures of what looked like living crystal, pulsing with internal light. No sharp edges or utilitarian design elements like human ships. They moved with an almost impossible grace. The reply came faster this time, the harmonics carrying what sounded like surprise. Your vessel, it bears many weapons, yet you speak of peace. We detect numerous orbital platforms, defensive arrays. Your entire system bristles with implements of war. How can a species so focused on conflict truly welcome peace? Chen smiled slightly. This was going to be interesting. With respect, how can a species truly maintain peace without being prepared to defend it? Our weapons are shields, not swords. We build them hoping never to use them. There was a longer pause before the next response. When it came, the harmonics had shifted to a more contemplative tone. Your words intrigue us. Our histories speak of species who build weapons to conquer. We have never encountered one that builds them to protect. Perhaps, Chen replied. We have things to teach each other. Would you accept an invitation to dock with our vessel? We can continue this discussion face to face. The alien ships moved with that impossible grace, taking up positions near the Vigilant. Chen could feel the tension on her bridge. Not fear exactly, but the weight of history. This moment would be remembered forever. Humanity's first direct contact with an alien species. We accept, came the response. Though we note your ship has maintained defensive screens throughout our conversation. Cautious, even in acceptance. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Would you trust us more if we were reckless with our safety? Good shields make for better diplomacy. The harmonics in the reply carried what might have been amusement. Your logic is unexpected. We will meet. Perhaps there is more to learn from warriors of peace than our scholars anticipated. As the docking procedures began, Chen sent the required notifications to Earth Defense Command. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for first contact, building defenses and protocols while hoping for peace. Now they would find out if they had struck the right balance. Looking at the crystalline ships gracefully maneuvering alongside her own vessel, Shen reflected that sometimes the strongest bridges between cultures were built on mutual respect, respect that came from understanding both the desire for peace and the need to defend it. The real work was about to begin. The price of preparation. The observation deck of the EDS Vigilant had never hosted such an unusual gathering. Captain Chen watched as the crystalline forms of the harmonious confluence representatives swayed slightly, their bodies refracting light in complex patterns as they viewed historical footage of Earth's military development. First Contact Specialist Dr. James Rodriguez stood beside her, his voice low. Their bio readings are showing extreme distress. Perhaps we should skip the World War sections. Chen shook her head. They need to understand where we came from to understand who we are. The lead representative, who had introduced themselves as Song of Dawn, turned their crystalline form toward Chen. Their voice came as harmonics that the translator converted. Your species fought itself with such devastating weapons. Yes, Chen replied simply. Those wars taught us harsh lessons. Each conflict pushed us to develop better technology, both for fighting and defending. When we reached the stars, we brought those lessons with us. But why maintain such armaments in peace? Another representative, Melody of Stars, asked. Their crystalline form flickered with patterns that Dr. Rodriguez's instruments interpreted as confusion mixed with fear. Because of the Mars incident, Chen said, nodding to Rodriguez to bring up that footage. The holographic display showed the automated alien defense platform that had appeared over Mars 50 years ago, its weapons charging before Earth's prototype defense systems destroyed it. We never learned who sent it or why, Chen continued. But it taught us that the galaxy might not be as peaceful as we hoped. We built the Earth Defense Service not because we knew of threats, but because we didn't know what threats might exist. Song of Dawn's crystalline form pulsed with new patterns. Your caution stems from experience, not aggression. This changes our understanding. The confluence has always believed that weapons indicate hostile intent. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. If I may, our studies of your physical responses suggest you find our military history deeply disturbing. Yet you're still here, still talking with us. Why? The two representatives exchanged harmonic tones before Song of Dawn responded. Because you are fascinating. You build weapons of tremendous power, yet use them as shields. Your ships bristle with guns, yet you welcome us with open arms. You are warriors who want peace, defenders who hope never to fight. You are a paradox. A necessary paradox, Chen said, turning to look out at Earth below. We learned that peace isn't just the absence of conflict. Sometimes it must be protected, defended. Show them the rescue operation footage, Rodriguez suggested. The display changed to show Earth Defense Service ships responding to a colony crisis, using their military vessels to evacuate civilians from a failing habitat. Another sequence showed defensive platforms deflecting a solar flare that would have devastated a settlement. Our weapons are tools, Chen explained. The same systems that could fight a war also save lives. The sensors we use to detect threats help us explore space more safely. Even our defensive screens protect as many ships from natural hazards as they do from potential attacks. Melody of Stars moved closer to the display, their crystalline form refracting light in new patterns. Your technology. It serves peace through strength. We have never considered such an approach. The confluence achieves harmony through pure pacifism. And how many worlds are in your confluence? Chen asked carefully. 3, Song of Dawn answered. Many species reject our overtures, seeing our lack of defenses as weakness. Chen nodded slowly. Perhaps there's a middle path, one that maintains peace while being strong enough to protect it. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Park's voice came over the comm. Captain, to the bridge. We're detecting multiple unauthorized access attempts to our defense grid. The crystalline forms of the confluence representatives flickered with patterns that the translator interpreted as shock and dismay. Song of Dawn's harmonics carried clear distress. No, they wouldn't dare. Who wouldn't dare? Chen demanded, already moving toward the bridge. What's happening? There is a faction among our people. Melody of Stars explained, their harmonics sharp with worry. They believe that all weapons must be eliminated to achieve true peace. We didn't think they would follow us here. As they rushed to the bridge, Chen's mind raced. Their first contact was about to become a first crisis. But perhaps this was also an opportunity. A chance to show the confluence exactly why humanity believed in peace through strength, and why sometimes the best way to prevent conflict was to be ready for it. Unity through adversity. The bridge of the EDS Vigilant erupted into controlled chaos as Captain Chen burst in, the crystalline forms of the confluence representatives floating behind her. Lieutenant Park's hands flew over his console as warning lights flashed across multiple screens. Report, Chen ordered, dropping into her command chair. 15 small vessels just decloaked near our outer defense platforms, Park responded. They're using some kind of crystalline technology similar to our guests, but more aggressive somehow. They're attempting to hack into our defense grid's control systems. Song of Dawn's harmonics carried clear anguish. The purist faction. They believe that all defensive technology must be eliminated to achieve true peace. Captain, if they gain control of your defense platforms, they could turn them against Earth, Chen finished grimly, or shut them down completely, leaving us vulnerable. She turned to her tactical officer. Options. We could target their ships directly, the tactical officer suggested. Our weapons systems are still fully operational. No. Melody of Stars' crystalline form pulsed with urgent patterns. The purists have never experienced violence. If you attack them, their fear and panic could cause them to make catastrophic mistakes with your defense systems. Chen studied her displays, mind racing. The purist ships were spreading out, each one targeting a different defense platform. Their hacking attempts were sophisticated, using the Confluence's crystalline technology in ways the Earth Defense Service had never encountered. What about a localized EMP? Lieutenant Park suggested. Knock out their systems without harming them. Their crystalline technology is resistant to electromagnetic pulses, Song of Dawn explained. But perhaps there is another way. Our ship's harmonic resonance could disrupt their control signals. If it was amplified by our defense platform's power grid, Chen finished, seeing where this was going. A non-violent solution using both our technologies. Mr. Park, can you modify our defense grid to channel power into the Confluence ship's harmonic systems? Park's fingers danced over his console. Yes, but we have to lower our defensive screens for at least 30 seconds to reconfigure the power flow. Chen looked at the Confluence representatives. Would your ships be willing to protect us during that vulnerable moment? Song of Dawn and Melody of Stars exchanged harmonic tones that the translator didn't even attempt to interpret. Finally, Song of Dawn spoke. You would trust us with your world's safety, after knowing us for less than a day. Trust has to start somewhere, Chen replied. And right now, we need each other. The next few minutes were a careful dance of coordination. The Confluence's main ships moved into protective positions around the Vigilant and key defense platforms. Engineers from both species worked frantically to integrate their technologies, finding ways to make crystalline harmonics work with human power systems. Purist ships are increasing their hacking attempts, Park reported tensely. They've almost broken through on platforms 3 and 7. All engineering teams report ready, Rodriguez added from his station, where he was coordinating the technical integration. Chen took a deep breath. Lower defensive screens. Channel all power to the Confluence ships on my mark. She looked at Song of Dawn. Ready. The crystalline being's form pulsed with determined light. Ready. We will not fail your trust, Captain. Mark. For 30 heart-stopping seconds, Earth's primary defenses went dark. The purist ships, sensing the power shift, intensified their attacks. But before they could take advantage of the situation, The confluence vessels began to emit a complex harmonic pattern, amplified to tremendous power by the defense grid's energy. The effect was immediate. The purest ship's control signals scattered, their hacking attempts disrupted by the overwhelming resonance. Several of them began to drift, their crystalline systems temporarily scrambled by the harmonics. Defense platforms back online, Park announced triumphantly. Purest ships are withdrawing. No, they're being drawn in by the confluence vessel's tractor beams. No casualties on either side, Rodriguez added, grinning. A perfectly nonviolent solution. Chen watched as the main confluence ships gently corralled their wayward brethren, using the same harmonics that had disrupted them to now guide them to safety. It was an elegant resolution to what could have been a disastrous first contact. Song of Dawn turned to Chen, their crystalline form glowing with new patterns. You had the power to destroy our misguided brethren. Instead, you chose to help us find a peaceful solution, even at risk to yourselves. Perhaps we were wrong about the relationship between strength and peace. And perhaps, Chen replied, we can learn something from your commitment to nonviolent solutions. Neither of us could have resolved this alone. It took both our approaches, human readiness and confluence harmony, working together. As the crisis wound down, human and confluence crews began comparing notes, sharing technologies and ideas. What had started as a potential disaster had become a powerful demonstration of how different philosophies could complement each other. The stars seemed a little brighter as Earth's newest allies helped guide their confused brethren home, while human engineers already began working on ways to integrate harmonic technology into their defense systems, not to make them more powerful, but to make them more versatile in finding peaceful solutions to future challenges. Guardians of Two Worlds. 3 months after the Purist incident, the observation deck of Earth's newest space station, Unity Point, hosted an unprecedented gathering. Captain Chen watched as human engineers and confluence crystalline forms worked side by side, their movements choreographed in an intricate dance of cooperation. The integration of harmonic resonance into our defense grid is proceeding ahead of schedule, Lieutenant Park reported, now serving as the chief liaison for human confluence technology exchange. The new hybrid shields are 30% more efficient and can be reconfigured for peaceful applications without any power loss. Chen nodded, studying the holographic display showing Earth's transformed defense network. The once purely military installations now pulse with confluence crystalline technology, their harsh utilitarian design softened by organic curves and flowing lines. But the changes were more than aesthetic. Show me the Harmony Protocol test results, she requested. The display shifted to show footage of a recent asteroid deflection operation. A defense platform, its systems now augmented by confluence harmonics, created a resonance field that gently altered the massive rock's trajectory instead of destroying it. The same technology that had stopped the Purist attack was now being used to protect both worlds from natural threats. Song of Dawn, who had become the permanent confluence ambassador to Earth, floated beside Chen. Their crystalline form had adapted over the months, incorporating geometric patterns that reflected their growing understanding of human architecture and design. Your species continues to surprise us, they said, their harmonics carrying morph. You've taken our peaceful technologies and found ways to make them more effective by combining them with your defensive systems. Yet you never use this integration to enhance your weapons. That wasn't the lesson we learned from our encounter, Chen replied. Your people showed us that sometimes the best defense doesn't require any force at all. We're just building on that principle. Dr. Rodriguez, who had been promoted to head of Sinocultural Relations, approached with a group of young confluence forms trailing behind him. The first class of confluence students has completed their defense operations training, he reported proudly. They've learned to use their harmonic abilities in conjunction with our early warning systems. Their graduation exercise was fascinating. They turned an entire defense platform into a sensor array that could detect spatial anomalies we never even knew existed. The students' crystalline forms pulsed with patterns that the now sophisticated translators interpreted as a mixture of pride and excitement. Over the past months, more and more Confluence youth had come to Earth to study, fascinated by humanity's unique approach to maintaining peace through preparedness. "We're learning as much from them as they are from us," Park added. "Their understanding of harmonic physics has revolutionized our communication systems. We can now coordinate our entire defense network with zero lag time, using crystalline resonance instead of traditional signals." Chen turned as the station's alert system chimed softly. The main display showed a new vessel approaching, one of the prototype hybrid ships, its design a perfect fusion of human and Confluence engineering. The ship's hull was standard Earth Defense Service alloy, but it was grown around a crystalline core that pulsed with harmonic energy. It could serve as either a defensive platform or a peaceful exploration vessel, adapting its capabilities as needed. "The Starbridge is beginning its final trials," Park announced, referring to the new vessel, first of the Guardian-class ships. Not quite as heavily armed as our old designs, but far more versatile. "And far more approachable to potential peaceful contacts," Rodriguez added. "It sends a clear message. We're prepared to defend ourselves, but we're also ready to extend a hand in friendship." Song of Dawn's form shifted, displaying patterns of deep contemplation. "When we first arrived in your system, we saw your defensive preparations as signs of potential aggression. Now I understand. They were really signs of responsibility. You built them not because you wanted to fight, but because you understood the duty to protect. And now we protect each other," Chen said, watching as more students, human and Confluence together, filed into Unity Point's main training center. "Your harmonics make our defenses more effective without making them more aggressive. Our technology gives your peaceful methods more range and capability." The station hummed with activity as joint research teams worked on new projects. Some were developing better early warning systems using crystalline sensors. Others were finding ways to use harmonic resonance for everything from space rescue operations to environmental protection. The military and the peaceful had found a balance, each making the other stronger. "The purists have been quiet," Rodriguez noted. "The last report showed many of them are actually studying our joint achievements with great interest. Because we proved them wrong," Song of Dawn said, their harmonics carrying a hint of satisfaction. "We showed that strength and peace aren't opponents. They're partners. One protects the other, and together they create something greater than either alone." Chen smiled as she watched the Starbridge begin its patrol route, its crystalline core pulsing in perfect harmony with its human crew's coordinated actions. 3 months ago, humanity had helped the Confluence find a balance between pacifism and protection. In return, the Confluence had helped humanity discover more peaceful applications for their defensive technology. Together, they were forging a new path, one that proved that the strongest defense came not from weapons or passive harmony alone, but from the wisdom to know when to use each and the ability to combine them in service of a greater peace. Legacy of the Stars. The Deep Space Sensor Array pulsed with crystalline light as it detected something approaching from the outer reaches of the solar system. In Unity Point's command center, human and Confluence operators worked in seamless coordination as they analyzed the readings. "Captain Chen," Lieutenant Park called out, his voice tense. "The harmonic sensors are detecting a spatial anomaly. It's unlike anything we've seen before." Chen, recently promoted to fleet commander but still preferring her captain's title, studied the readings. The crystalline displays showed a mass of dark energy moving through space, consuming everything in its path. Small asteroids disappeared into it without a trace. Confluence long-range sensors confirm, Song of Dawn reported, their crystalline form pulsing with concern. "It's some kind of void phenomenon. Our preliminary analysis suggests it breaks down matter at the quantum level." "Trajectory?" Chen asked, already knowing she wouldn't like the answer. "It will reach Earth in 6 days," Park replied grimly. The Confluence homeworld would be next in its path. Chen straightened, her mind already working through possibilities. Send word to both fleets. I want every Guardian-class ship assembled within 12 hours, and get me the research team that developed the harmonic shields. The next few days were a blur of preparation and innovation. Human and confluent scientists worked around the clock, adapting their hybrid technologies to face this new threat. The void couldn't be destroyed. It wasn't really matter. But perhaps it could be redirected. The new resonance field modifications are ready, Dr. Rodriguez reported during the final briefing. If we can synchronize enough ships, their combined harmonic shields might be able to create a barrier strong enough to deflect the anomaly. Might. Someone asked from the back of the room. That's the best we've got, Chen replied firmly. And it's better than watching that thing devour our worlds. As the void approached, an unprecedented fleet assembled in Earth orbit. 20 Guardian-class ships formed the primary line, their crystalline cores pulsing in harmony. Traditional Earth defense platforms provided power support, while confluence vessels added their pure harmonic energy to the mix. All ships report ready, Park announced from his station aboard the flagship Starbridge. Harmonic synchronization at optimal levels. Chen looked around the bridge at her mixed human and confluence crew. 5 years ago, they had been strangers, suspicious of each other's philosophies. Now they moved as one, each species' strengths complementing the others. Begin resonance field generation, she ordered. All ships, maintain position. The void grew larger on their screens, its dark energy making instruments flicker. At Chen's command, every ship activated its harmonic shields simultaneously. The combined energy of human and confluence technology created a massive barrier of light and sound. The impact shook every vessel. Crews struggled to maintain their positions as the void pushed against their combined shields. On the Starbridge's bridge, humans and confluence worked together, adjusting power levels and maintaining shield harmony. The barrier is holding, Rodriguez reported, his voice strained, but we need more power to deflect it. Song of Dawn, who had insisted on being aboard for this mission, suddenly pulsed with inspiration. The crystalline cores. If we increase their resonance frequency beyond normal safety limits, we could amplify the entire shield network. That could burn them out completely, Park warned. Better than losing our worlds, Chen decided. Do it. The space between Earth and the void lit up with energy as 20 massive ships pushed their technology to the limit. The barrier began to curve, slowly forcing the anomaly to change direction. For 3 hours they held their position, gradually steering the dangerous phenomenon away from populated space. When it finally moved past them, altering course toward empty space, cheers erupted throughout every ship. The crystalline cores were indeed burned out, but they had succeeded. Together. Later, during the celebration on Unity Point, Chen found herself standing with Song of Dawn, watching Earth's transformed defense fleet through the observation window. You know what I realized today, she said. 5 years ago, neither of our species could have handled this alone. We needed both human strength and confluence harmony. The technology that saved us only existed because we learned from each other. Indeed, Song of Dawn agreed, their form showing patterns of pride and contentment. We taught you that harmony could be as powerful as force. You taught us that being ready to protect doesn't mean losing peace. Outside, construction had already begun on a new type of ship. Larger than anything either species had built before, it would serve as both a defensive platform and a deep space exploration vessel. Its name was written in both human and confluence script, Harmony Shield. The purists sent a message, Rodriguez said, joining them. They formally requested to join the Joint Defense Training Program. Apparently, watching today's operation convinced them that there's more than one path to peace. Chen smiled as she watched more ships begin their patrols, each one a testament to what could be achieved when different philosophies found common ground. Earth's iron fist had learned to work with harmony's soft touch, creating something entirely new, a peace that knew how to protect itself and a strength that served harmony. Together, They had forged a legacy among the stars that would light the way for generations to come.